Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon, where I'll be talking about their movies, TV shows, merchandising, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So here we go, I reckon. So anyway, I just figured I'll just do this. Of course, this is going to be a response video to another video, of course. I mean, I was thinking to do a response to something anyway, and it's in regards to this individual. And by the looks of it, okay, he's like a pastor, minister, or something. But whatever the case is, does hold an important position in the church, of course. And I'm going to just cover a video that he made, and it's roughly almost 17 minutes length. And yes, I would be talking about that one, folks. And of course, it's a response to Disney. It's a part of a series of videos he's working on Disney Somewhat Driving Part 1. Frozen. He has to be the first Frozen film because this was, I guess, uploaded on about a good 10 years ago. In 2000, well, almost a little bit more than 10 years ago, I guess you can say, roughly. I guess because this is in reference to the first movie, of course. And he wants to discuss it because, I don't know, for some bizarre reason, he feels like he has to. I guess, whatever. And no, I've never discovered it. I never discussed this person before, so this will be the first time I'm be talking about this individual. So I just figured, just might as well just get into it, I guess. And of course, obviously, thanks for anybody for tuning in. And typically, the way this goes is that when it comes to these religious people, they either take it one of two ways. They either take it as anti-religious, the Frozen movies, I mean, or it's pro-Christian. But the actual reality of it, the Frozen films, I guess in this case, we're talking about the first one, it's neither. It's neither anti Christian nor pro Christian. It's neither. I've said this multiple different times, but that's how this typically goes. People just assume it's anti Christian or pro Christian. Again, it's neither. He has more of a neutral stance when it comes to this kind of thing. He has a neutral stance when it comes to this kind of a thing. He has a completely another neutral stance. Anyway, with that being said, let's just get into it, shall we? So here we go.
Wear this during the preaching of the sermon. I actually will not do that, but I will put it on just for a moment.
And yes, of course, the quality of the audio, it's pretty bad. Come on now. What is with these religious people, these pastors or ministers, whatever you call them, having bad audio in their videos? Come on.
I'm a good sport. Um, so the movie that we're going to talk about today is Frozen, and in case you don't know anything about it, let me just say that the two girls you're going to see in this first clip are princesses.
Oh, you're just going to assume that the girls would have seen this movie first because it's a Prince movie. Stereotypical much?
They're from a royal family. And so let's go ahead and watch this clip. Was she born with these powers, or was she cursed? The troll asks.
That's a stupid question. I know he's just using that as a way to set up everything, but she was born with the powers. I mean, it could be viewed as a curse, but technically she was born with it. But anyway.
Most of the movie, it seems like Elsa was cursed.
What difference does that make if she was born or cursed with it? Well, it doesn't make any difference, really, at all. It still would have been the same result, technically, but okay.
The truth is, so many things that happen to us in life, things we're born with or things over which we have little or no control, can be experienced by us as either blessings or curses.
Okay, he's trying to use this as a parallel to Christians when Christians experience some bad things in real life, even if it was not, even if it wasn't intentional, but we could be cursed with bad things, with like terrible luck. Okay, that's kind of a stupid way to set things up.
Christian singer-songwriter Laura Story wrote her most popular song about this very subject. It's called Blessings. In the chorus of that song, she sings, "What if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life?"
Excuse me? How's using a Christian song talking about blessings or curses or whatever evidence in this. Again, I know he's trying to tie the two with Elsa's, I guess, supposed curse and this song he's talking about. He's trying to use as if it was evidence to back up his claim. It's a bad way of doing it, but you just really it's reaching. You're really reaching here. Okay.
This road. But about a year after he was diagnosed, she said, she was talking to her sister, and her sister said, "You know, I think the detour is actually the road." The Apostle Paul was
Because
frustrated with
something
her
in
years
real
of
life happened,
diagnosis,
like let's
and
say
he describes
somebody
the
was
struggle that he
in the
faced in his
hospital because of some
experience
injury or
as he
because of some kind of
mourned
illness,
Paul's
but
unborn,
it turns out to be a
instructional,
blessing because maybe their
never-ending road
immune system was built stronger because they got
so that
sick,
Paul
but
was
never
able to
mind, that
discern
turned out to be a good
clearly
thing because, of
what it
course,
was.
uh,
But whatever it was
sickness
that
provided a
caused
better immune
Paul
system
to
somehow,
mourn,
ironically. And again,
he
he's trying to use
describes
this
it
as a
as
way to
like a
tie into the
messenger
movie.
from Satan.
But again, that doesn't mean what you're saying is true. I know he's trying to make it as if that when it comes to Christians, of course you're gonna have faith and whatnot. That does not support your claim here. But okay.
Sent to torment him. 3 times he prayed that the Lord would take it away, and 3 times the Lord said no, finally telling him, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." In other words, this thing that the devil intended for Paul's harm, our Lord transformed into something good and necessary.
So okay, trying to use a biblical story from his book again as a way to back up his claim to say that this whole curse thing, like how people may be tempted to be pushed away from Satan, who gets mad because the will of the Christian is too powerful. So Satan might be doing this or that as a way to tempt them or push them away in some kind of way. And this is some more evidence? What are you talking about?
For Paul's growth. Truly, the trials of this life, through the power of God's transforming grace, can become mercies in disguise. Of course, it depends on how we respond to these trials. Elsa's parents responded with fear instead of faith. They kept her isolated from the world.
That's just completely asinine. I mean, I know he's trying to use this again as a parallel to the Bible because it's kind of weird. He said Elsa's parents. He didn't say their parents because you realize she has a younger sister, right? But anyway, that aside, so their parents fell because they lacked the faith of God. What?
Including from her own beloved sister, Anna, who wonders why her big
You actually pronounced her name correctly, Anna. That's a surprise because a lot of these individuals usually don't. But anyway,
sister no longer loves her. No one in the kingdom knows that Elsa has these powers, and she keeps them pretty well hidden.
well, yeah, clearly it was all kept hidden. And again, if I'm interpreting this the correct way, I'm guessing this is supposed to be a reference to the Salem witch trials, which was a series of hearings and prosecutions of in this Cornelium, Massachusetts, between 1692 and 1693. More than 200 people were accused of being witches, and 30 were found guilty, and with 19 executed by hanging. These trials have become iconic in the wrong way and referred as witch hunts in connection with any unfounded and unfair claims against person or their ordeals. So I'm guessing again, assuming if I'm guessing again if I'm guessing this right, so I'm guessing the people who made Frozen got reference from that. Again, if I'm taking that the right way, this makes no sense at all.
Until the day of her coronation. Things are going okay at first, but then she gets into an argument with her sister, and that's when trouble really begins. Show this next clip. Back in 2011, I went to the Holy Land.
So, okay, we're just going to skip the setup, right? So, yeah, these two got into an argument because Elsa told her that she can't just marry the person she just met. This frustrates Anna because she's acting as if they're not close to anymore. So how would she know anything about love, all that jazz? That just sets Elsa off and just pretty much tells her to beat it. And of course, her younger sister grabs a glove and she's acting, well, what's with the glove then? And they just keep arguing back and forth. And this is one that she's just had enough. And then everybody just gets frightened. Oh, she has powers. Oh no, this must mean something. And then at this point, of course, Elsa just pretty much flees from the scene because of what had just happened and whatnot. I mean, there's a bit more to this than that, but this individual, he's just glancing over a lot of stuff here.
And the first leg of the trip was in Tiberias, a city that's on the Sea of Galilee. When we checked into the hotel, there was a sign in the lobby that said that they offer Sabbath elevators. Now, I had no idea what Sabbath elevators were, but I would soon learn. On Friday around sundown, you see, I was staying on the 6th floor of this hotel.
This literally has nothing to do with the movie. Okay, you went to some place to do some studying or whatever. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with religion, of course. Even if you just want to kick back and relax somewhere, I'm pretty sure this site you went to visit in person has something to do with religion, right? In one form or another. I mean, you can do that if you want, because I personally don't care if you're gonna do that. And if you just want to visit places that are similar to the place in the Bible, whatever. If you want to do that, go ahead. I don't care. But a lot of this is completely irrelevant to the movie. Again, yes, I know he's trying to draw parallels to the films. Well, I guess the first one in this case, but he's failing miserably, really bad at it. But can we just finish up, please?
Now, you might have to wait a long time, but you will eventually go where you want to go.
Christ Almighty! Yes, again, I do realize he's trying to tie this into the whole Elsa thing because Elsa has to go through her own journey in her own way. It may be pretty chaotic, it may be pretty wild, but she will eventually get to her destination if she's willing to go through the struggle. And but okay, as an adult, your life is going to be pretty chaotic anyway, regardless of what you're doing in life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. It doesn't matter what your job description is. I mean, it's going to vary from person to person, but your life will be chaotic in some shape or form anyway. But since this is the queen we're talking about, her life is going to be chaotic already. She has to deal with politics because she's a part of the government, after all. She's supposed to run this Arendelle, this kingdom. So that alone is a truckload of responsibilities. There's so much pressure. Just do like, for example, just keep a min image, of course. There's like lots of paperwork she has to do. They use diplomacy, of course. And obviously, it depends what kind of government it will use. Should be using here. So because each government system may be different from government to government around the world, of course. So it's going to vary, and also considering the time period where this is supposed to take place in. It's not going to be exactly the same, of course. Even if it's going to use diplomacy, it's not always going to be the same in all history. It's going to vary from time period to time period, too. So you have to think about the politics at the time, which in itself could be potentially stressful. It's going to be stressful anyway, but to various degrees is what I'm saying here. So,
Now, think about that for a moment. There are people who believe that they will sin against God if they push an elevator button at the wrong time. Which reminds me that at the heart of nearly all religion in the world is the idea.
well, to me, it's somewhat fair here is that a lot of you Christians create this anxiety like anything and everything is sinful. I mean, everything. Like, for example, if somebody found Elsa attractive, and let's just say they want to start a certain body part of hers, you would consider that as a sin. And yes, a lot of you Christians had considered that as a sin because apparently the way her hips move is way too suggestive, according to a lot of you Christians. I'm referring to Kevin Swanson, of course. Because apparently in that song, Let It Go, her hips were moving too much side to a side, too suggestively, if you know what I mean. Like, as if that's going to turn someone on? Like, what are you talking about? And if she isn't meant to be attractive, so what? A lot of you Christians would get mad at that. Oh no, she's too sexy. Ooh, oh no, how dare you? And claim that's a sin. So again, what are you talking about? I'm so confused.
That if we follow all these laws or rules that are given to us by the gods or given to us by God, then we'll be okay. But only if we follow all the laws and the rules.
You're referring to the song Let It Go, or aren't you? because she does make that one lyric, "No rules for me" and whatnot. This is not supposed to be saying that she's throwing her responsibilities away. That's not what she's getting at. She's finally freed because, as I said earlier, the townsfolk finally realized she has these magical abilities, which of course was deemed as sorcery, witchcraft, and whatnot. And a lot of you Christians don't like that. And yes, a lot of you Christians point out that the film is supporting witchcraft, apparently, which, yes, I've discussed before. So it's kind of in the line of that. So the townsfolk getting afraid of Elsa isn't that much of a stretch because a lot of you people, a lot of Christians, would have behaved the exact same way. So it actually makes the film kind of realistic to some extent when you think about it.
In Romans chapter 7, the Apostle Paul describes the life of someone who's trying to follow all of God's laws and all of these rules in order to be made right with God. This is the life that Paul himself lived before he found Jesus Christ.
Are you trying to suggest that Elsa was rebelling against God? I'm trying to find the exact connection of what you're trying to say here. I mean, this was never a pro Christian song. The only lyric that kind of hinting at some kind of Christian faith when Elsa said, "Heaven knows I tried." At first, which was said during the song "Let It Go," and that was only in reference towards the fact that how she was supposed to be really strict, the word you said earlier, rigid rules, which yes, a lot of you Christians do have. Let's not kid ourselves here. And she feels like she can't be her actual self, her true oneself. And she felt like she doesn't have to hide anymore, which was basically doing that in her entire life up to this point. So I don't see how any of this is political in any sense.
He writes, "For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want."
So are you claiming that mere mortals, the humans, can't really do anything good without the interference with something supernatural? You realize that makes humans seem like utterly useless because they're too incompetent to know what's right or wrong. I mean, yes, there are people who are really stupid, but I don't think that you're referring to people who are stupid. I thought there's plenty of those. There's lots of people who are stupid enough they can't really tell the difference because some of them are idiots. I mean, granted, there are some people out there as well who are just psychopaths because they can't tell the difference between good and evil because they lack the ability of having sympathy. I mean, those people exist too. I mean, you can. Why can't you just go after them instead? I don't know. You're just trying to frame people are just too flawed to actually do the right thing. Of course, this is way too general. That's what I'm getting. It's way too general. There's like so much you can dissect with how people behaving around others. And there's other people who are sociopaths as well. So
The evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. See, the problem, as Elsa realizes in this clip, is that no matter how hard we try, left to our own devices, in our own natural.
oh, give me a break. Oh my god. Again, it just goes into what I was just saying earlier. Since Elsa doesn't know better, she would just make mistakes after mistakes after mistakes because as a human, I mean, okay, she's technically, I guess you want to argue, if you want to argue that she's just a human that happens to have powers, I guess. But anyway, that aside, she's just too naive to do the right thing because she's not believing in God enough. That has to be one of the most ridiculous takes I've ever heard. So, okay, so again, she's trying to hammer in the idea that she has to have faith to be a good person. Because apparently, the only way, the absolutely positively only way to be a good person, or at least somewhat of a good person, is that you have to be a Christian. And that's another thing I don't understand really is that you have to be 100% good on the dot to enter heaven. What if you do all the right things? You help old women cross the street, you save cats from the tree and give it to a little girl or whatever, but you just don't believe in God. You do everything else right except that. So I guess the person will still go to hell just because of this. Let's say, for an example, Elsa likes to wear some dresses that show some cleavage, And of course, in a graceful, respectful way, obviously. It's still gonna be really feminine, really dainty, and all that. Sure, why not? And she does all this Christian-like things. I mean, with that, aside from the fact that she's showing some cleavage. So you mean to tell me that she's still gonna go to hell just for that? That doesn't make any sense. Not really. What if you are a good person but a little spotty? Because, for example, let's say maybe Everest or I found somebody's wallet in the BART station. We take all the money that's in there, but everything else, like the wallet's ID, the person's ID, or anything else, for example, we'd be giving it to the police. We just don't say that we took the wallet. At least on the bright side, we did that. So that's morally gray. So does that mean we still can go to hell just for that? Again makes no sense. Elsa never got married. Elsa never got married at all. So, I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen in part 3 and 4 because those have been confirmed. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But at least in the first two installments, and nor in the rose in the franchise for the time being, she never got married. So, but she does everything right. Okay, she does everything phenomenal. She's still a great person at heart. She still does all the Christianing things correctly to the T. Except she doesn't get married and have like 50 babies, like a lot of you Christians want women to do. So, does that mean she's going to still go to hell just because of that? Just because she doesn't follow that specific rule in your Bible. That is so weird, if you ask me. That is so weird.
Human condition. We cannot successfully follow all the laws and all.
Okay. As if it wasn't obvious enough, he's trying to use Frozen, well, the first one anyway, as a cautionary tale to express his perspective on biblical teachings because he's trying to use the film as a way to get across what he believes to be right, what he believes to be correct, what he believes to be the path of righteousness, what he believes to be the correct way of living, to have a family, to have a large network of friends, to live in a good community of Christians and whatnot, yada yada. Maybe let's have a picnic. It's gonna be all jolly and happy go lucky and all that. But the only way to do any of this is through Christ. And Elsa is an example of this because she doesn't have enough faith in Jesus. Again, I don't see the direct connections to what you're trying to say here exactly. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'll keep saying that I do realize that. I'm just trying to connect the dots here exactly. I guess I am to some extent, I guess, but there's nothing really concrete here to actually back up his claim, like at all. Is it because she's a woman? That's the main character, or main characters, I should say, in a movie? What?
Rules. There is something inside of us that so often prevents us from doing the good that we want to do.
This is so patronizing. Very, very patronizing. Of course, this is also a stab towards atheists because atheists are morally wrong, which, of course, is not the case here. I mean, are there some atheists who are bad? Of course. But that doesn't mean that every single atheist is bad. And he's trying to act as if like every human being is inherently bad just because they don't believe in God right away. So you're expecting an infant, a baby, to believe in God? So you view them as babies as your enemies because all they're doing is just a bunch of Google Gaga kind of a thing. They can't speak really. So you're gonna view babies, something that innocent, as your enemies. Is that what you're trying to get at? Because they're not singing the church songs or anything. I guess you're gonna see them as sinners right off the bat. Right out the mother's snatch. The crotch goblins are just sinners. Is that what you're getting at? Again, I am so confused here as to what exactly you're trying to say because this entire thing is so nonsensical. And I mean, y'all blamed Eve for the fall of mankind, which, of course, that in itself has a lot of plot holes when you think about it. I mean, I don't want to get into too deep into the whole thing with Adam and Eve because there's so much wrong with that story as well, aside from the whole incest bit. But anyway, which I find kind of odd because a lot of you Christians do support incest, and there's lots of passages within the Bible that does support incest, at least earlier on. And I mean, in the later passages, it doesn't because God forbids it later. I mean, yes, technically, God allows it for a while to populate the earth, but then after a while, He forbids it. Because I know this is just an excuse to kind of retcon it in some ways because it's been scientifically proven that incest can have some, let's say, disorders. It just depends how far down the line it goes, of course. It could get worse and worse and worse. And I know I'm kind of coming off like I'm falling off the deep end here too, but I just don't know where he's going on with this really. Because this entire thing does not make any sense, like at all. I know I'm saying that over and over again. I'm just confused. That's all I'm saying. I'm so damn confused here.
The Bible calls this thing sin. Later in the film, the trolls will sing a song about how everyone is a fixer-upper. And that's true.
Christ Almighty! Do I have to stop you in every moment here? I mean, yes, there was a song called "Fixer Upper" in the film, and again, he's trying to draw parallels to the Bible, like how everybody can have the potential to do the right thing and make it and fix up stuff. And in the context of the film itself, referring to the fact that how like the main characters could actually potentially do something right, of course. But again, he's trying to use that the song as a way to justify his claim. So how exactly is this a connection to what you're saying? And yes, of course, I do realize that the Bible is encouraging people to do the right thing with Jesus in their heart, of course. And the Bible is also encouraging through Jesus' words as a way to, of course, help your community, help your neighbor. If your neighbor has a flat tire, maybe help him out or help her out or whatnot. I'm not going to say group because I'll be gender blind. Ha ha ha. But anyway, point being is that help your community out. Help the homeless, help people at the shelter, maybe donate some clothes if you don't need it and whatnot. You just do the right thing. Everybody has the potential to fix up, to be a fixer upper, like you said. Sure. And maybe babysit for your sister, of course, if you have the time and whatnot. I mean, sure. I mean, you could do various things to help out a bunch of people, sure. Maybe trying to cheer someone up when they're feeling sad. Send them a good text. Maybe make them laugh. I don't know. There's various ways you can do that. Maybe you can do some recycling. Maybe do some recycling. You can do that as a way to I don't know, help the community to stay the community itself, like the town you live in, to stay clean. You can do that if you want to. But again, there's like so many ways in which you can do this to help people out. Maybe buy some cookies from the Girl Scouts. Maybe you can do that. Help people out with the Girl Scouts kind of thing. Sure, that's one way of doing it. Anyway, but I guess, like I said, there's so many things you can do this. Be a fixer upper, so it's like he was saying. I mean, yes, you can, but again, he's trying to draw parallels to the biblical teachings and what is going on in the film. Even though there's literally nothing in the film, the first Frozen film, to indicate Christianity in any shape or form. So again, I don't understand what he's getting at from this perspective. Really, I'm just confused as to what he's trying to say here. Really, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like at all. But anyway, I just find this really odd. I just find this really odd and whatnot. But I don't know. A lot of Christians like him just don't make sense. Get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. Whatever. I don't get it.
We're all fixer-uppers. All of us need to have our hearts repaired. And there's only one way for that to happen: by love and not law, as we'll see later. In this next clip, Elsa runs to the North Mountain, and through her powers, she constructs this giant ice fortress. And as she does so, she gets to have the movie's very best song. But I want you to pay attention to the words of this song. This is no ordinary self-empowerment anthem. Let's be clear. What Elsa is doing here and what she's singing about is selfish.
Of course you're gonna bring that song. I'm not surprised. Of course you would. Of course. But so she's selfish because of the fact that she wants to bring her own self up, her own self esteem up. You realize she's trying to make herself feel free, right? It has nothing to do with wanting to make things be, I guess, anti-good. I guess the point you greatly missed the point. I mean, this won't be the first time. A lot of you Christians tend to miss the point of this song. And yes, she wants to cheer for herself up. And yes, obviously, she wants herself to be empowered. Yes, I mean, yes, you're partly right because she wants to focus on herself, make herself feel good, make herself feel empowered, make herself feel like she's great. That is true, but you're still missing the point here. But I mean, yes, the thing is that you completely undermining what the movie's really trying to do. Missing the point, missing the point, missing the point, missing the point. Yes, the film from Frozen Let It Go has become a cultural phenomenon in a lot of ways ever since its release. The song itself is intended to be capturing the themes of self acceptance, empowerment, of course, and the liberation of when it comes to social expectations. It tells a story of Elsa, a queen who embraces her magical abilities instead of just hiding them like previously done, symbolizing the personal growth and the struggle to break free from constraints, of course, from the society, of course. The song's importance lies within its message of being true to oneself, which can resonate to the audience of all ages, regardless of how old you are, or how young, or maybe somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter. Particularly those facing pressure to conform, its powerful melody and emotional lyrics have made it an anthem for individuals and resistance to various extents, I guess. Moreover, is that the song has sparked conversations about identity, mental health, and of course, the courage to embrace one true, authentic self. So, going to it, which of course helps to its lasting impact on popular culture and inspire countless interpretations on performers worldwide. I mean, I could go more into depth. I feel like it if I wanted to, but that's more closer to the actual song's true actual message than whatever you're trying to say. I mean, yes, everybody can have an opinion, of course, everybody can have their own thoughts on the song, but that in itself does not always mean it's going to be the right one. I mean, I'm not trying to come off like a dictator and tell you what everybody should think and feel. That's not the point. But even given that, he's still in the wrong. Ugh. All right, this is starting to get really lengthy, folks. So I'm gonna have to cut this in two parts. So stay tuned for part two as soon as I can, obviously. So thank you for anybody for watching. But this is just ridiculous. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. See you.